Hi, welcome to ADHD Friendly. I was gonna try to throw in a little like fun slogan, if you will, there of like, welcome to ADHD Friendly, where we get more done, right? Or
Yeah.
we're ADDers are getting more things done.
I like it.
I'm Patty. I am an ADHD coach. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna try to hold it in. And I'm here to share just, some things that might help you tilt the playing field a little bit more in favor of your brain. If you'd like more support for your ADHD, I invite you to join my membership. We are diving into some amazing content, live events, lots of on-demand videos in there and worksheets, but lots of live things too. So check it out, ADHDfriendly.com. All right, this week on our episode, it's 192. I'm celebrating a yoga win. I'll talk about that. I'm also going to be updating my spending this week. And then I have a tip I'm going to share. I'm calling it budget-ish. And this is a part of the membership that I am doing this month. And I thought, I'm just going to talk about a little bit what that might look like for you. And I'm also going to share my product of the week. I've talked about this in long ago episodes, but I wanted to bring it back and share it again. And then our main topic today is I use 6 calendars. Did I tell you this? That I realized I use 6 calendars.
I mean, I knew you used a few.
So I'm gonna highlight what they are and why I actually need all of them. So yes, I use 6 calendars and I need them all. Plus, I will highlight the book of the week. So let's dive in and make today and this week a little bit more ADHD friendly. All right, kicking it off as I do with my celebration. I have been getting a little relaxed in my yoga goal, keeping the check marks, have not broken the streak, which is very, very motivating and one of the things I'm most proud of in my life, but I have definitely been phoning it in a bit more than like a little yoga slump, if you will.
Sure.
Which I'm recognizing as a warning sign. I'm like, okay, if I start down this kind of slippery slope, is it going to get in the way of me continuing? Am I going to lose some of the gains that I've had? So, but Rebecca, she's trying to drink her coffee. Shut up and stop looking at me. So, I made it a goal last month in May to do yoga. I only do it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. And I made a goal to find 20-minute episodes. So just to consistently do minimum of 20 minutes, which I had been doing like minimum of 12, 15, like just, kind of like looking for the shorter ones, giving myself permission to start slow on Monday and end slow on Thursday and only have like 2, what I would call like really like more physically demanding yoga routines on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And even those weren't like the most, kind of like, I'll do a balancing one on, so it's like, I was definitely really I was kind of like Rocky in Rocky 3 with Mickey, like hand picking his opponents to just keep it going. But it was definitely a warning sign for me. So I made it a goal to track and just write, whether or not I did 20. I did it every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday through May, with the exception of the 3 days that I went on my trip to Michigan with my husband. And even on those days, I still did 10 minutes each day, which I was super proud of myself because that's like become like kind of like my new standard. Unless I'm sick or something, like I can do 10 minutes. But I loved it so much that I'm continuing it into June. And so I'm already a couple of weeks in and I've done it every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday so far in June too. So my celebration is I found just a little bit of sparkle. A sparkle is like the key for our brains. It gives that novelty and interest, a little dopamine hit, makes things a little easier to get started with. So I'm just celebrating that I didn't let the trend continue. I recognized it and then made a decision on what I wanted to do about it. And so far, so good. Okay, what I purchased this week, I made June a no shopping month. So what I purchased, I always, as a reminder, if you are a new listener, I record these 2 weeks in advance typically, so it's how I'm able to be consistent putting them out, because that way, if I get sick or something gets in the way of Becca being able to edit it or me being able to record it, or I'm traveling or whatever, there's buffer time. So sometimes I'm only a week, ahead. Sometimes I'm 3 weeks ahead, but
Yeah.
usually I'm 2 weeks ahead. And that's where I am now. So this records 2 weeks exactly before it comes out. So as I'm recording this, the last time I purchased anything was on June 1st. So I purchased nothing since then, but I'm still only, I think today is June 11th. So I'm still only, but still it's been 10 days. I've not purchased anything. And it feels like a long month. It's really interesting. Well, because it's like, I'm like, oh, I wish I thought about that. Like Friday is my 2 kids work in elementary school in North Carolina. And I was like, oh, I should send them both like little flowers or a little plant or something. And I was like, but I'm not shopping.
You're like, I can't.
If I thought about this earlier, I could have ordered it in advance earlier, but that's not how my brain works. So I've had to really rein it because I was like, oh, well, could I justify it? And the only thing I purchased, which it doesn't count because I gave myself permission because I knew there were some birthdays this month, is birthday gifts, but I'm not counting them. So anyway, I purchased a bird feeder and seed on June 1st. And that was $43. I am loving my bird watching, and it's something I don't regret one bit, but I'm really glad I did it before I implemented the no shopping in June, which I think I did on June 2nd, or maybe even like after I bought those things, I thought, maybe I should just make June a no shopping month, because I was like, did I really need these? No, I wanted them. So
Yarn, so pretty.
yeah, so it's kind of another celebration too, is I haven't purchased anything else since June 1st. All right, on for my project of the week. I purchased these back in May, and those are my high fidelity concert earplugs. These come in a 2-pack, meaning 2 pairs, so 4 earplugs. They are high fidelity concert earplugs, 2 pairs, $13.99 on Amazon. It comes with one handy little carrier with the brand. It's Laudexua. Do you know, Becca, do these show up reversed on the video when you're watching it, or are they the right way?
The right way.
Okay, because when I look at it, it's backwards, and I'm always thinking, but I'm not doing the editing, so I don't go back and watch it.
Right way.
So you can clip this on your belt loop.
Yeah.
I click it to my little camera crossbody carrier. They come in blue and black when you get them, 1 pair of blue, 1 pair of black. They are super comfortable. And here's my win. We went to ACDC, which I shared, and I have definitely paid the price for loud concerts over the years. So I'm sure I'm going to be experiencing some of the cost of that in my older age, but I'm trying to help my kids be aware, because they're just constantly with things in their ears. We didn't have that when I was growing up. So I got all of us a pair. So I'm highlighting it again because I bought them before. And my thing that made me want to share it again is the 3 out of my 4 kids that came to the concert with us all wore them without me reminding them. I just gave them to them, and I told them I'm completely unattached. It's a tool for you if you want to protect your ears. If you don't, they're your ears. You do what you want. But as your mom, I feel like I can't take you to ACDC without arming you with some protective gear. So they all, I was like literally like noticing. And one of my kids was like, I don't think these are working. And I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, yeah, right. You know, because you hear everything just like, and you can hear talking. It just blocks out those really higher decibel sounds that are damaging. So I did not medically test these. I am not validating them in anything except my own experience with feeling like I'm protecting my ears. And they do have really good reviews on Amazon. So I went with that. When I purchased it, I read the reviews. So I'm just highlighting them again, because for $13.99 for 2 pairs, it only comes with 1 case. So I did order like separate carrying cases. They sell them individually. Or actually, it was another 2-pack, but yeah. So here, sometimes my brain holding it up. This is what they look like on Amazon. So and it doesn't come with the little carabiner, whatever that's called. This is one that I ordered a duplicate, and it just came with that thing without the carabiner. But it just makes it so easy to clip on. So my kids like had them on their belt loop, and my daughter had it on her purse, and it was just perfect. So that's just a little product to keep in mind to protect your ears if you're going to be around noise. I also have an app that tells me how loud it is. And I just kind of like, I didn't do it at the concert, but it's like, okay, look, this is like actually loud enough to damage your ears. So, oh yeah, I know, it's pretty cool. All right, now for my tip. And my tip is tied to what I'm focusing on in the membership this month, which is dopamine, and I'm calling it dollars and dopamine. So it's all about how with ADHD, brain wiring, and the impacts on our executive functions, we can really struggle with money management. It's kind of like time management. It can be very invisible, especially in today's culture where everything is purchased with credit cards, tap and pay, or online, click here and you already have your card on the site. So it's so invisible and our brains just don't hold on to it well. And we tend to have a lot of experience not managing money well. So we tend to think of budget as like a word to be afraid of. It creates stress and anxiety. So it's like, oh, or it feels restrictive. And it's like, no, that's never worked for me. It's kind of like planners. People think that planners don't work for them. And I always say, it's just that we have to find the one that works for you, not the one that you think should work for you. And so the word budget-ish fits in with that because it's kind of, you know what, it is what that word will mean for you. So let's redefine it. So budgeting can feel like a heavy expectation. The word itself, like I said, creates resistance. Budget-ish is all about allowing yourself to start where you are, do with you what you can with what you have. It's finding that system that works for you. So the key to finding something budget-ish, and I can't define that for you. I'm just going to share some things to think about when you think about what that budget-ish would mean for you if you're looking for something to manage money a little bit more easily, is keep it simple. Make sure it's sustainable. I always say if you did it once, but you're like, oh my gosh, I never want to do that again, that's not sustainable. It has to be something like, oh, okay, that only took 2 minutes and it wasn't bad. I could do that again. Like it has to be sustainable. And here's where I'm going to use that word Goldilocks. Goldilocks structure. We want just the right amount of structure. If it's too strict and combining, it's going to get in your way. If it's too loosey-goosey, like, oh, I don't know when I'll do it whenever I feel like it. No, that's also not going to sustain you. So whether it's accountability or structure you're putting in place, define what that means for you. Set reminders, visual prompts, whatever you need to remember the structure so that it does work. We can do anything if we work with our brain, not against it. So that's really what budget-ish is about. So this, again, is the focus for June in the ADHD-Friendly membership. If you'd like to join today to access all of the content for Dollars and Dopamine, there are 2 on-demand courses or lessons in there, video lessons. There are worksheets. There are workshops this month live still coming up. And there's just a lot of content. So you can join and tap into all of that and then continue in there to participate in the summer semester that begins in July. I'll talk about more about that in a future episode. All right, so now for our main topic. Yes, I use 6 calendars. Here's why. So if you ever thought, you know what, I should just use one calendar. I need that one perfect system, whether it's one digital calendar, one physical calendar, and you just want everything to fit in there perfectly. I'm going to use it for everything. That typically doesn't work for most of us. It becomes too much of a good thing where it gets really crowded. It gets really cumbersome. We feel this expectation of, well, I have to do everything in here. And it can be a little, create that resistance, that barrier to using it. So if you think I should just use one calendar and keep it simple, you're not alone, but it never typically works for us. So I use 6 and I never really thought about it until, was I talking to you when I realized it?
I don't think so.
No, I was talking to somebody last week and I was like, I need to talk about this because I never really thought about the fact that I have 6 calendars I use regularly. I have more than that I use occasionally, but I have 6 that I use every day pretty much. Yeah. So I'm not overwhelmed by them. Quite the opposite. I'm very supported by them because they each serve a function that supports my brain. So they help me to thrive with my ADHD. So I'm going to break down what each one of them is and why it works for me. And again, as with everything I share, take what works for you, leave the rest behind. If there's something sparkly that you're like, oh, I like the idea of that, or, oh, I think I would do that, but I would do this instead. Hold on to those things that are sparkly in your brain and let go of the others. All right. So the first calendar I use is the calendar that most of us use, and that's a digital calendar. So whether it's Google, Apple, I use Apple iCalendar. It's my go-to for I call it my master calendar. It's where all of my appointments are, all of my client sessions are in there. I have a family shared calendar in there. So there's actually multiple calendars in there, but I'm counting it as one. But we have a family shared calendar where I can see, like my husband and I share a car. So if he has an appointment, I'm like, oh, well, I can't do that thing because he's going to have the car. So it just lets me know like where we are and like if who's working, so I know who's going to be home, that kind of thing. I can just look at it. But it's also for all of my personal time commitments, my doctor's appointments, my work commitments. I have alerts on there. I have color coding in there. And like I said, the sync where I need it. So that's my first calendar, is my digital calendar. Everything calendar time-wise comes from that calendar. If I'm changing a session, I'm changing an appointment, it goes in there first. That's my master first updated calendar. That's number one. Number two, I have a desk blotter to track my yoga habit. I've shared this multiple times. I'm back again. Sorry, guys, I thought I had everything with me. So this is my desk blotter. This was from last month, May, where I shared that this is all I use it for. This is just my yoga tracking calendar. Have I told you I have an image one day? I have every one of these since I started my yoga habit. I just roll them and shove them behind the chair there. And I have this fantasy of one day when it's not windy and it's nice out like this, I want to take them all and just kind of like use like little like rocks or something to hold down the corners and lay them all on the ground and just lay in them.
That would be a fun picture.
I know, because it's so satisfying. So it's one of those things I have no reason to hold on to this,
But you are.
but I am. So I'm like, well, maybe I should do something with them before I get rid of them. So my desk blotter is just to track my yoga habit. It's giant. It sits right in front of me. It pulls me in when I sit down. It's one of the first things I do in the morning is I get that dopamine hit from crossing it off, seeing the trend. On the bottom of, on each Thursday, if you look, you can see the number of weeks I've done my yoga habit. So I have a very satisfying trend I'm tracking. It's the daily, but it's also how many weeks have I been doing this daily practice. So it pulls me in and I am dialed into this. It's probably really loud. I'll do that later. I do not want to break that streak. So that is my second habit. It's a visual tool that supports the consistency of that habit. So that's number two. Number three is my 4-month dry erase calendar. This is for my business. This is where I plan out. So you can see I just updated this with June, July, August, and September. I have written all over it my no shopping June to remind me of my focus, like no shopping, no money, no money. I have it marked on here when my husband's traveling. I have the workshops and different things. Because even though it's for work, it helps me when I'm planning things to know, like, is he here? Because if I'm going to plan like a late night to work, I want to plan it when he's not here so that I'm done when he gets home and then I don't have to work late. I have promotional notes here, like when to promote different things that are coming up so I don't forget. And it just helps me see the next 4 months. So it's very helpful. So as you can see, like right here in June, I'm doing the dollars in dopamine. Well, in July is my summer semester through September. So I've got to start planning out. So I'm like, okay, what am I offering? I'm just starting to get some structure around that because I'm creating this course throughout the year of 2025. And it just helps me to see, excuse me, what I'm planning and what I need to do. So it's a bird's eye view of all of the offerings for my membership. It helps me to, when I map it out, I'm like, okay, wait, am I going on vacation at any point? So like, it's dry erase. I can erase it as I'm planning it out because I just put it up there. And a lot of times the dates change. My husband's travel plans change. There's lots of things that get modified, but I write the dates in wet erase marker and I write everything else in dry erase. So if I have to erase things, it doesn't erase the dates and I don't have to write them back in. It's one of my little hacks. But it lets me see a full season at once and it helps me make realistic plans without getting overwhelmed. So when something else comes across my desk and I'm like, okay, do I want to do that?
Right.
Do I have the capacity? Do I have the energy? Do I have the space and the time to do that? I can look at it and say, I don't know. Or yeah, I can manage that as well. It just helps me to plan. So that was my third calendar. My fourth calendar is my annual dry erase calendar. And that's where I track my walking habit. So it's a big calendar on the wall. And you'll look, I have not been as good at marking that off, but I've gotten a little bit out of it, but I've been using it for years.
Yeah.
So I will go back to it, but I do track my daily 25 and 25 habit, which is outside for 25 minutes, moving
Yeah.
Typically I'm walking, but when it's nice like today, and today is going to be our first 90-degree day, it's forecasted. So I did spend the day walking around the yard and watering things to make sure that
Get your steps in.
yep, walking back and forth and refilling because I have to fill watering cans, and so I'm getting like a little like weight workout in too, because they're like 2.5 gallons each things that I'm carrying. So it's but still I have to do it for 25 minutes. So when I do that, if it doesn't fill enough time, which usually it does, but if it doesn't, then I just walk the yard and so yeah. But I track that and I check off each day, and I give myself 25 skip days over the course of the year, because there are days where it's just simply too cold. And there are days when it's simply too hot. I hate those days. So that's one of the reasons why I gave myself permission to do the yard today, because I knew I had to do it before work, and there's only
before it got too hot.
Yeah, I can't do it later. So I was like, okay. But I use my annual dry erase calendar on the wall to do that. Again, it's another calendar that just has one specific purpose that pulls me into tracking it. And it's funny because I think part of it is where it is, because that is blocked by the door when I walk in, and I've just gotten out of the routine where I keep forgetting to go back and mark it down, which is funny. I always say we have good habits until we don't. It's like they fall off, and it's like, oh, I need to get back and reconnect with that. So that's number 4. Number 5 is my weekly daily planner. So no, this is the planner I custom designed. I have this planner available on my website. If anybody's interested in checking it out, it's available for, I think it's $9.95, something like that, if you want to buy it and have it on your own. I designed it for my brain. I share it in case it also supports your brain, because it's very mindfully designed with how visually we can support our brains to see our time and pin it down. So it's my daily task that I write down my plan for the day. And I'm going to share today's day. I already shared today is Wednesday, June 11th, as I'm recording this. I always have 3 priorities at the top, and then I have things I would like to do below. And so on the left, it has a block out of my schedule. I block my free time here with little brackets. I have a little record. Becca and I record. So she's here until 1 today. I have my lunch break at 1. I plan on shredding some of that pile of my spring semester goal, which is probably going to roll into my summer semester goal after that. And then I have a library program tonight. For my tasks, it was payday today, so I had to pay Becca. I walked, and I had a note to remind me to do it this morning. I like asterisk. I had a little walk flag over here earlier. I just took it off because I already did it. I have a workshop today for dollars and dopamine called Stop, Drop, and Don't Shop. Come on, it's going to be fun. And then that's it. So this I use every day. So if I were just looking at my calendar, my digital calendar, it helps me see what's coming up, but it doesn't help me plan my tasks and where I can fit them in. So like here I have record lesson 192. Well, here's where I'm recording. So I flag that. I have other openings where I'm like, okay, this is where I'm going to record lesson 2. I have an on-demand lesson for July. I'm going to record today. I need to do the newsletter. I can see I can fit that in because my little circles are time estimates for how long something will take. A full circle is an hour. And then Becca is going to be editing the first Friday webinar today, and I'll add that to the portal. I always try to get that in within 1 week of it being held. That was just held this past Friday, which was the first Friday of June. So I try to get it in less than a week. So these are things that help me remember what my schedule is. And I use this every single day to plan my day. So that is my 5th calendar. And then finally, I have my 6th calendar. And so this is from May. And this is a family dry erase calendar. It's actually about 4 times larger than this. It hangs in our entryway where we all come into the house. And this is just a visual way for everybody to see what's coming up in the family. Like I said, we have a shared digital calendar, but for whatever reason, it's so funny because my kids, who are very, very much more techie than I am, will not look at the shared family calendar. So I like to write down, like, if they're going to be gone at night. I had when the Canes were in the playoffs. Not anymore. I had AC/DC on here when my son Jake came into town, so I can see it. It makes it so sparkly. So I cross this off every day. And now that we're in June, I don't think I want to share this while I'm thinking of it. I don't think I have something I can write with it's going to be really visible. So because I am trying to keep up with my plans,
Yes.
what another thing I use this for, and I do it in green, is I will write down, I'm just going to show you, where like, say like I watered my plants on Tuesday, there's no rain, and then there's an R for rain. So I never let them go more than 2 days without being watered. So if I get down, let's say it rained on Friday, if it didn't rain on Saturday or Sunday, and then there's still no rain in the forecast on Monday, I have to water. So it helps me, it saves my working memory. I don't have to think,
When did I water
when did I,
those?
and I'm not going to go out and stick my finger in the ground. Like that's just not, I just need to know when was the last time they had a good soaking rain. So my family calendar in the hall, just like, oh, and then I have my little dog heartworm reminder. Because I honestly, if I put these on my digital calendar, I usually use my digital calendar at work.
Yeah.
It's not where I'm doing these things. These are
you're
the
gonna
things
have
that I
it.
need to be in the middle of the house to keep track of. They're like family and household things. So this calendar helps me keep up with those types of events. So I called it my command center for the family. Everyone can see what's coming up, and it cuts down on questions. I would say, go look at the calendar. Go check it out. It's on the calendar. So each calendar supports me in different ways. So those are the 6 that I use really regularly. Like I shared, I have like a podcast planning semester calendar that I use. I have like a couple of other calendars. I have calendars I use with my clients. Like I have like a monthly calendar for each client that I just, kind of jot down if they're telling me, oh, I'll be out of town here. And then I'm like, okay, well, we're meeting that day. So I'm not going to pull my calendar up during a session, but while they're talking, I can't hear time without having a calendar in front of me. So I just have a blank calendar for that month, just in case I need it. And so if they ever start talking about time, I'm just looking at the time while they're talking time, so I can make sense of it in my brain. So I have lots of other calendars I use, but these are the 6 I use every day. So the tracking calendars support my habits. They give me a dopamine hit when I am doing the habit and I get to check it off. And they pull me into continuing because I can see the progress. I've used all of these for at least 4 years. I would say they're coming up on 4 years with success. I've used them with varying degrees of success before that, but I've used them consistently for 4 years now. And the dry erase calendars really support my planning, memory, and follow through. I can easily look at them. My semester calendar is on the wall right next to my desk to my left. So I can easily look at it and see in a glance. I don't have to pull up my whole calendar and kind of like try to filter through the month view of the digital calendar. That is not a helpful view.
No.
So it just helps me to see everything. When you think about what calendars would support you, if you don't have any calendars, it might be what's the one that you would start with. If you have one, but you might want a second or a supplementary one, spreading things out with different calendars can prevent that visual clutter and overwhelm. Just open up, if you're using a digital calendar, open it up to the month view. And depending on my month view, I can't even, it'll just say +5 more at the bottom. Like there's too many things on there. You can't see it. So it's not helpful to me, even though they're color coded, it's way too busy. It doesn't provide anything useful. So spreading things out prevents that visual clutter, it prevents overwhelm, and it prevents me from forgetting what I was doing. So I have to use them to help me show up where I'm supposed to be at the right time. One system didn't work for me. I added each one as I noticed what would work. Sure, I could track my walking habit and my yoga habit on my desk blotter, but I was already tracking it on the calendar. I have thought about like, do I want to, like, no, I really like it just being. I remember I used to track a couple of things on it when I first started, but now I was like, no, I only want yoga on it and that's it. So one system didn't work for me. I encourage you to think about what would you need, start small, and just notice if it creates a little bit more ease in your life. So that's it. Now for the book of the week, we are nearing the end. It is American Dirt. This is by Janine Cummins. And this was an Oprah's book club pick back in 2020. So this is a few years old.
Ooh, what's it about?
I don't know. No, I'm kidding. So this is about a family in Mexico that is, the husband is a journalist and he decides to write a story about the head of a huge cartel. They're down in Acapulco. And is worried about retribution. So considers taking his family and putting them in a hotel to, keep them safe. And they decide they don't think that'll be necessary. And like 2 weeks goes by and it feels like, okay, I guess, we're okay. Well, they're having their niece's quinceanera and the cartel shows up and kills 16 of this woman's family members in cold blood. Only her and her 8-year-old son survived because they happened to be in the bathroom at the time, and they hid in the shower.
Yeah.
And they didn't see them. And the people that came to kill them didn't realize that they weren't among the dead.
Sure.
And so it's about, and that happens in the very first chapter, so I'm not spoiling this. It is about their flee to try to escape Mexico, but it's very timely because it really does, even though it's fictional, it really does share the experience of this mother and her son and how dangerous, and everything's on the line. They get, they have money to pay for these things, but like how much it costs for them to try to pay people to help them escape Mexico before the cartel finds them, because the cartel is hunting for them. It's really, really graphic and stressful. And it's just the story of their journey as they try to escape and reach America before the cartel finds them. So I'm not going to tell you if they make it, but I will just tell you I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Wow.
It was really, really good. Very well done. And it really helped me to see that experience in a different lens than I've ever thought about. So American Dirt, if that sounds like something that would be interesting to you. This is a quote from the book that I'm going to share this week. And the quote is, "They are running towards something, even if they don't know what it is. And maybe that's hope. Maybe that's what hope is." So that's it. So if you're still here after all of that, you are my people. You are absolutely the kind of people that I am looking to work with. So check out my ADHD Friendly membership for more support, because if this resonates with you, if the tools and the way I share them resonates with you,